You check your bank balance before you check the weather. You feel a small jolt of anxiety before you even see the number. Your heart rate changes, your palms react. But here's the strange part: money is not real. It is ink, or plastic, or a string of numbers on a server somewhere in Virginia. So why does your body treat it like a predator? The answer is stranger than you think. Your brain is one of the most advanced tools ever produced by evolution. It can predict the weather, build rockets, and compose symphonies. But it was not designed for spreadsheets. It was designed for survival on the savannah. And that mismatch explains almost everything strange about the way you handle money today. Let's go back 200,000 years. No coins, no banks, no apps that show you exactly how much you have left until payday. For most of human history, wealth was not a number. It was meat, water, shelter, and allies. Your ancestors did not calculate risk with formulas. They calculated it with fear, hunger, and instinct. That instinct still runs the show. In the 1970s, two psychologists named Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky ran a series of experiments that would eventually win a Nobel Prize. They found something almost embarrassing about the human mind. People do not evaluate money logically. They evaluate it emotionally, and the emotional weight of losing money is nearly twice as strong as the pleasure of gaining the same amount. They called this loss aversion. It means your brain is not built to maximize wealth. It is built to avoid loss at almost any cost. Why would evolution do this to you? Because for most of human history, losing resources could kill you. A single bad season without food reserves was not an inconvenience, it was a death sentence. Gaining a little extra food was nice, but losing your stockpile could end your bloodline. So your brain evolved a hair trigger for financial danger, even when the actual danger has completely changed shape. Now fast forward to today. Losing money rarely threatens your survival in the way it once did, but your brain has not received that memo. When your bank balance drops, ancient alarm bells ring in modern circumstances. You feel dread checking an app, even when the actual consequence is mild. Your body still believes it is starving season. Here's where it gets even more interesting. In 2007, a neuroscientist named Brian Knutson at Stanford ran brain scans on people while they made financial decisions. He found that the anticipation of gaining money activates the same brain region responsible for anticipating food, sex, and other primal rewards. It's called the nucleus accumbens. Meanwhile, the anticipation of financial loss activates the same region that lights up when you feel physical pain or disgust. Your brain does not have a separate system for money. It borrowed ancient survival circuitry and repurposed it. This is why a stock market crash can feel like a physical wound. This is why watching your savings shrink can trigger the same neural signature as touching something rotten. Your brain is not malfunctioning. It's using 50,000-year-old software to run a system it was never designed to understand. But loss aversion is only the beginning. Consider how you react to a discount. A jacket goes from $100 to $60, and something in you feels triumphant, like you won a small battle. Behavioral economist Dan Ariely has spent decades studying this exact reaction. In his research, he found that humans are wired to think in relative terms, not absolute ones. You don't judge a price by whether it's objectively fair. You judge it by comparison to a reference point, even when that reference point is arbitrary or manufactured by a marketing team. Why does this happen? Because for most of human history, there were no fixed prices at all. Value was negotiated constantly, tribe to tribe, trade to trade. Your ancestors were experts at reading relative value in real time, not absolute value from a price tag. Comparison was survival math. Which tribe has more? Which hunter brought back more? Which season was better than last season? Your brain still runs this ancient comparison engine, and modern marketers have learned to exploit it perfectly. That is why a $1,000 discount on a $100,000 car feels bigger than a $1,000 discount on a phone, even though the number is identical. Your brain is not doing math, it's doing tribal comparison. There's another twist, and it involves trust. Neuroeconomist Paul Zak discovered that a hormone called oxytocin, the same chemical released during hugging, bonding, and childbirth, also plays a massive role in financial trust. In his experiments, when people received a signal of trust, even in an anonymous financial exchange, their oxytocin levels rose, and they became more generous in return. Money, it turns out, is deeply social. It is not just a number. It is a proxy for trust between humans who evolved to survive only in groups. This explains something you have probably felt but never named. Paying a stranger online feels different from paying a friend. Splitting a bill with someone you trust feels different from splitting a bill with someone you don't. Your brain is not tracking currency. It's tracking relationships using currency as the messenger. So if your brain evolved for tribes, food, and trust, what happens when you introduce something your ancestors never had to deal with? Compound interest, credit, debt that grows exponentially while you sleep. This is where things get dangerous. Human brains are notoriously bad at understanding exponential growth. A study led by economist Craig McKenzie found that people consistently underestimate how quickly debt compounds, treating growth curves as if they were straight lines. Your ancestors never needed to calculate exponential curves. Nothing in nature grows that way at a pace relevant to daily survival. So when you're handed a credit card with rising interest, your intuition quietly lies to you, telling you the growth is smaller and slower than it actually is. This is not a personal failure. It's a structural blind spot baked into every human brain, including the one reading this sentence right now. There's a modern mirror to all of this, and it might be the strangest part. Casinos, apps, and stock trading platforms have all discovered the ancient circuitry hiding inside your skull, and they have built entire industries around triggering it deliberately. The near miss on a slot machine hijacks the same dopamine anticipation system Knudsen found in his brain scans. The red and green candles on a trading app hijack the same loss aversion Kahneman identified in the 70s. The countdown timer on a discount page hijacks the same tribal comparison engine your ancestors used to judge who had more resources. None of this is an accident. It is ancient software, weaponized by modern design. So where does that leave you? Understanding this doesn't mean you can switch off millions of years of evolution. You can't outlogic a nucleus accumbens with a spreadsheet, but you can recognize the pattern the moment it fires. The dread before checking your balance is not truth. It's an alarm bell built for a world with no safety net. The thrill of a discount is not always value. Sometimes it is simply your ancestors' tribal comparison engine reacting to a number a marketing team chose on purpose. The rising credit card balance that feels manageable is often growing faster than your intuition will ever admit. Every time you feel a financial emotion, ask yourself a simple question. Is this the modern situation? Or is this 50,000 years of survival instinct misfiring in a world it was never built for? Because here is the truth hiding underneath all of it. Money is new. Your brain is ancient. And every decision you make with a dollar is actually a negotiation between a hunter-gatherer nervous system and a civilization it never had time to evolve for. You checked your bank balance before you checked the weather. Now you know why. It was never really about the number at all.